I am not taking personal readings at this time. Please do not get scammed by people posing as me in the comments section. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to my channel, Roseology. So today's reading, we are looking into your physical reality and how that is going to be shifting over the next 12 months. And in the last reading, the reading that I posted before this one, we looked into how you are going to be shifting personally and vibrationally or energetically over the next 12 months based on this astrological new year. So if you haven't checked that out and you're interested in hearing how you may be personally or energetically shifting over the next year, you can check out the reading that I posted before this one, or you can head to the description section down below where I've left a link to that reading. That reading that I did previously centered around how you are experiencing these soul or energetic sort of shifts. This reading today is all about how your physical environment will shift. So things like your mental state and your emotional state will come up in this reading. And even your vibration will come up in this reading, especially in the tarot cards as I'm looking at your tarot cards. But once we move over to the oracle cards and start looking over there, that's when a few more details start coming in about your physical reality and how that could be shifting over the next year. So yeah, let's just jump straight into the disclaimers and the meditation. So obviously this is a general reading, meaning that it will resonate with who it is meant to resonate with. Tarot does not and should not control or dictate your life. If you hear something you don't like and think that you're just doomed to that reality, you're not using my readings correctly. I conduct these readings for confirmation and not answers. If you hear something for the first time, do not take that message without receiving confirmation from your higher self and spiritual team. Realize that at the end of the day, your free will and what you do with it determines your outcomes, and not a pick a card reading on YouTube. I am not here to make you believe in anything that you already do not perceive to be true. That is entirely your prerogative and up to you. So please be responsible, accountable for your own actions, and use this simply as a guide to help decipher the messages that your spiritual team has been trying to send you all along. If you would like to participate in this meditation, again, this is a general reading for the collective. So in order for this reading to resonate with you personally, you have to be synced into the energy of this reading. To help you do that and help you select a pile with your third eye and not your physical ones, I'm going to be offering a 60-second meditation. Halfway into that meditation, I will be placing crystals for my clairvoyants that like to pick piles with objects on them. And after the clairvoyant pile selection, there will be a clairaudient selection where I play a different tone for each pile, and you can select a pile based off of which tone resonates with you the most. If you're drawn to another pile, that's because there is another message for you in that pile. So if you're already, get into a relaxed position, become aware of your entire body, starting with your feet. Work that awareness up in sections from the feet to the head. Then take a deep breath in through your nose for around 5 seconds. Hold that breath for 3 seconds and then exhale for 6 to 7 seconds. Then ask your guides, spirit, ancestors, the universe, or all of them to connect you to your higher self so you can receive confirming messages as to the reality shifts that you will be seeing in your physical environment over the next 12 months. So this is pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3. So these 3 cards that you see on top of the 3 piles here are not cards that I actually used in today's reading. I actually use them as kind of placeholders in a sense to help my clairvoyants pick a pile that you're drawn to. So I just actually use them for the pile selection only today. But here on pile 1, I'm also going to be placing down crystals and doing the clairaudient selection. But here on pile 1, it says, choose a new direction. So if there's something about these cards on top that draw you to the piles, pay attention to that. So pile 1 says choose a new direction. On pile 2, it says let go. Pile 3 says this is the sign. On pile 1 is rose quartz. On pile 2 is hemomorphite. On pile 3 is black tourmaline. All right, pile number 1, welcome to your reading. So we are going to be starting off with your tarot cards, and then I'm going to be looking into a few oracle cards here to see exactly how your physical reality will be shifting over the next year. So if you have not checked out the energetic, more so version of this reading, that was the reading that was posted before this one, but it is also linked in the description down below, where I actually take a look at your own personal energy as I'm looking at a natal chart of yours. Okay, so this reading is all about your physical reality, and so we're going to be looking at more of the mundane things changing in your life over the next 12 months according to this astrological new year. So the very first card that we have for you is we have the 8 of Swords. Then we have the Ace of Swords. And then we have the Star for you. So for you, pile 1, we have the 8 of Swords, the Ace of Swords, and then the Star. So right away, your physical reality or environment is totally surrendering to you this year, or over the next 12 months with this with the 8 of Swords, yes, and this Ace of Swords here. What this feels like for me is, pile 1, you have been persistent. I feel like there's a bit of stubbornness here to you, where you just did not give up on something that you needed or wanted. I feel like for you, you absolutely refuse to accept anything else. And this is why a lot of your physical reality has started to shift or change. I feel like as well, pile 1, your Pluto may have just crossed, not your Pluto, but Pluto may have just crossed one of your, it could have just crossed maybe like your north or your south node, because there is definitely like some sort of almost like it's almost as though like it feels like karmic energy is almost like released to you in a sense, especially with this 8 of Swords, like this imagery here. it's very powerful because it's like she's in this coffin and we've got all these crows around her, and something about it is making me feel like there's like this almost like a liberation of your own karmic energy, or almost as though like karma is releasing her grip on you. So I don't know if there was something that, like, I just feel like astrologically there could be something indicating that maybe like a karmic door or a karmic chapter is kind of closed in your life. But with the swords here, because we do have the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Swords, we got the Eight of Swords and the Ace of Swords. But yeah, swords talks about the mind, perception, knowledge, communication, language. So this tells me that you have already done so or will be seeing quick responses from the universe. The more that you speak to the universe and the more that you learn about your own energy, the things that have been keeping you held back. So the more that you learn about your Chiron, your natal Chiron, something's going on here with your karmic energy. I wish I could see your chart because I would totally be looking at either your nodes, Chiron, or Pluto, just to see what's happening around there, because it's like I feel like, and something about your fourth house is coming up too. The thing that I feel about with you in particular, pile one, is just simply the fact that like there is some sort of almost like maybe even like an epiphany for you that's happening over the next 12 months as well, where you kind of, with this Eight of Swords, you kind of get to see like how you yourself may have been holding you back with this Eight of Swords, because that's kind of what the Eight of Swords represents too, is like, it's not like she's being held against her will in the Eight of Swords. That's what the card is about traditionally, is like there's two different ways that we can get held back. Either someone makes us a victim or we victimize ourselves. And that's the thing with the Eight of Swords, is that it more so falls into like the Seven of Swords is all kind of about somebody doing something to you, whereas the Eight of Swords is a completely different situation. No one else has caused anything. This is all you. Extremely important when the Eight of Swords comes out in a reading, unless it's saying something different intuitively, it's extremely important to be able to look in the mirror and assess and say, okay, let me be honest with myself, not in terms of being critical or being judgmental towards yourself or hard on yourself, but just to be able to look at yourself and say like, okay, maybe I didn't help my cause, or maybe I didn't help my future by doing this, this, and this. And being able to have that level of awareness and then accountability is a fucking gift. So many people are afraid of accountability and taking just ownership of their own lives, that everyone else has to be the problem. And so when you're somebody that's already past the fear of looking yourself in the mirror and looking at where you may have made some missteps or misjudgments, you're already way ahead of majority of the human population, honestly. The more that you do this, the next 12 months for you, you are in line to become an extremely skilled magician. The more that you can see yourself, but your power strictly lies in your words as well, pile one. You'll learn how to even bind someone or something with your words and intentions with this Eight of Swords right here over the next year. You can even bind yourself or block yourself if you are not careful. But this is exactly why, pile one, you have had to take all the time that you needed to take to learn about blockages, to understand them, to learn how to heal them, to learn how to tend to them, to learn how to expose them and then rid yourself of them, and to learn how to not make those same sort of kind of slip-ups or trips in the future, so you don't create the same opportunity for those blockages to come back in again. So for you, you've had to learn so much about blocking yourself and getting out of your own way, and what blockages mean in the first place, and how it doesn't necessarily matter if you put them there or someone else put them there. Either which way, there's a problem there that's persisting, and you have been just as persistent about checking it and getting rid of it and making sure that this is not like a permanent thing, a permanent fixture sort of in your life. So the next year, you're going to become a very skilled magician. You'll also learn how to free yourself and your circumstances from these energetic chokeholds and these blockages. Your prayers are going to have an easier time reaching source itself, because these blockages are going to be cleared out of the way. And so this is a very clear line of communication with this Ace of Swords right here that may not have been as clear in the past, or there may have been some sort of interference here. But it feels like interference possibly from you. I also want to say too, because I literally just saw it, your ancestors kind of wanted to come in and say that they have also helped with clearing out your something about your communication to spirit or to source at some point in time was blocked, or it was like there was just interference. There was like static there or something like that. There was like something going on where your intuitive voice, it may have been difficult to hear at some point in the past. It may have been difficult to hear, difficult to interpret, difficult to understand. You may have even dealt with that emotionally, but especially when it comes to your intuition and your intuitive voice, it may have been difficult for you to trust yourself, to trust your intuitive voice, to trust spirit, to even hear spirit. That's why there are some blockages here that need to be cleared out of the way. But your ancestors also helped clear certain things out of the way that was blocking your communication when it came to you communicating back and forth with source or spirit. You may not have had a lot of faith in your prayers, intentions, or manifestations before. And you may have had more faith in things that you could be hands-on with. And if that's true, something changes within the next year here where you know for a fact that source is listening and communication becomes seamless with this Ace of Swords. Because at the end of the day, us living beings, we are just simply satellites, picking up frequencies and then emitting our own. So the strength of our connection depends on if we are open to communication, as well as if we truly believe someone is on the other side listening. There's a reason that faith is the key to moving mountains and achieving whatever we put our minds to. Not even confidence. Confidence doesn't, it can help, but confidence doesn't really factor into what we're able to do necessarily. It's more so faith. Because, confidence is pretty much a byproduct of faith. But you have to have faith in yourself first and foremost, though. You can't even get to a place where you're feeling confident and assured of yourself without having faith in something. So that's the thing that grounds us. That's our anchor. That's our roots, If you don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything. You know that saying? Yeah, faith keeps us grounded. So just having faith in something, whether it's the universe, source, spirit, God, yourself, it doesn't matter. Just find something productive to believe in. And that's the thing that has carried you through pile one, is that you have had this unwavering faith in something, whether it's yourself or God or spirit, your ancestors, your love for your family, your love for yourself, your hopes for the future, whatever it is. You might have just put all your faith in the future because your present wasn't looking good. Whatever it is, this is the exact thing that is charging through these blockages and has completely obliterated them. That's where it begins, is with you, pile one, with this Eight of Swords. It's what it's saying. The more that you free yourself from doubt and skepticism, the more your physical environment will change with the Star card right here. Star card for you is the guts of your reading specifically. The physical environment that is changing for you, or the part of your reality that is shifting, is wherever you've been trying to rebuild and repair after a lot of damage has been done, since Star comes directly after the Tower card. And something could have happened late January or in February of this year, since the Star card does rule Aquarius. Leo season, which is like late July, majority of August. Leo season as well, which is like could have some big developments, since the only star in our sky is the sun, and sun rules Leo. So, and the sun is a star, so that's why I'm mentioning Leo and the sun. Leo also opposes Aquarius as well. Then we have the Swords cards for you, and it's interesting because Mercury is going retrograde in all the air signs this year. But as it goes retrograde, it's going to dip back into the earth signs that come before it. So it's going to spend time retrograding from air signs and earth signs. So every Mercury retrograde specifically will be an opportunity for you, pile one, to speak order into chaos and life into whatever endings you've been trying to recoup from. For some of you, this is confidence or self-esteem that you are rebuilding. For others of you, this is knowing exactly the type of relationships that you want and need in your life. The star keeps saying to reclaim, okay? So there's a sense of you almost like splintering off as well and building something for yourself. This could be building your own wealth, knowledge, career, relationships, even you branching out and networking on your own, but just establishing your own own connections. And even like, oh, okay, so that's what this is as well. This is also your reputation, I just heard for you. Rebuilding or even repairing your reputation. This could be you curating a specific image for yourself as well. Even changing your image by running or associating with different circles. You know how they say birds of a feather flock together? Your social circles over the next year will have a huge impact as to how far, as far as how you are seen and even treated. So this new group of people, because it is going to be a new group of people with this Ace of Swords right here. It could have been that there was an old group of people that kind of put you in this Eight of Swords sort of mindset where you really maybe forgot who you were and how powerful you were. This new group of people is not going to do that. Okay, they're not going to disempower you at all. So there is a new group of people that my pile ones are coming into. And I normally don't make confident statements like that in tarot because I'm aware of how broad tarot can be and complex. But this is something that I'm very, very, very sure about. And I can for sure say pile one is coming into a new group of people over the next year. This new group of people that you'll be associating yourself with, and with this Ace of Swords here, they're going to have a huge hand in reshaping your image or reputation or helping you to build an image or reputation. For example, let's say that you were like a small business owner and you get linked with some like big social media like TikTok star. TikTok's a new thing, right? So let's say you get linked up with this like big TikTok star, right? And because of you being associated with them, people assume that your business is a lot bigger than what it is, or they trust it more because of like this one friend or like group that you hang out with. Like your connections have a lot to do with your reality shifting over the next year as well, pile one. So this is really cool. Really awesome for you. Okay, let me go in with the astrology cards first. Let's see what we get. Pile one's reality shifting over the next year. So we have here, we have got Uranus and Saturn. So yeah, this is all about you guys definitely as well making some sort of an independent break for something. With both of these cards coming out for you, this is also talking about you having this independent liberation in a sense, or doing something maybe where you break out on your own. You do something on your own. It's going to require a lot of hard work. With the Saturn card right here, you're going to have to put in a shit ton of effort, and not just when it comes to work. Like Saturn doesn't just rule like physical labor like a lot of people will say. Like it does, it rules all of physical labor, but what Saturn also rules that a lot of people do not talk about is like sacrifice, effort, and labor in terms of your personal life and your private life. So let's say you wanted to get in shape for the summer. Obviously, you know, like Saturn's going to rule the part where it's like, okay, I got to be more strict with my diet. So you get more strict with your diet. But it's not just about getting more strict with your diet. If you're really trying to change your body or your diet or your lifestyle, you more than likely have to also change your mindset, right? So Saturn also rules that. I have to sacrifice, or I have to completely reconstruct a new way of thinking, a new mindset, so that it's easier for me to stick to these changes. So it's easier for me to commit to a lifestyle that's not as easy, right? So Saturn rules like those personal sacrifices as well. Is where it's like, if you truly want to be happy, you're going to have to walk away from some relationships. You might have to walk away from that job. You might have to walk away from the very things that make you comfortable, because that's literally the personification of Saturn. Is he's going to pull you away from everything that makes you comfortable, because Saturn sees comfort zones as death traps. He's like, there is nothing there but imprisonment. So Saturn hates that. And Uranus is literally the planet of liberation. So this is talking about being freed or liberated from comfort zones. And we see that right here with what? The fucking Ace of Swords, or not the Ace, but the Eight of Swords. We see that right there. The Eight of Swords, like I said, is all about where have you imprisoned yourself. You know, Seven of Swords talks about how someone else could have victimized you, stole from you, something like that. But with the Eight of Swords, we're our own obstacle, we're our own problem. And so this is talking about basically you being your own liberator over the next 12 months as well. Oh, well, let me read it. Saturn here says, tarot the world. It rules Capricorn. Phrase, I achieve. Transit signs every 2 to 3 years. And it rules discipline, fears, challenges, law, ambition, structure, karma, and lessons. And then we also have here Uranus says tarot. It rules the card the Fool. It rules Aquarius. Phrases, I evolve. Transit signs every 7 years. And the words that it is associated with is change, invention, reformation, science, rebellion, eccentricity, liberation, and future. And Uranus currently, at the time of me filming this, Uranus is currently in Taurus and Saturn is currently in Aquarius. And then underneath the deck for you, we have Sagittarius. Yeah, so this is definitely you guys over the next year. Having to almost move to be able to rebuild, with Sagittarius being under the deck for you. And the star right here, the star, again, we've already spoken about her, but she is basically saying for you, Pile 1, that this year is a year for you to reclaim something that you may have lost in your past. Something that was kind of almost taken from you in a sense. You may feel that way or look at it that way. But the star is saying with the Sagittarius being underneath the deck that you're literally going to have to move in order to be able to rebuild something, right? So just for example, like if you fell out with like a friend group or something, Sagittarius being underneath the deck is saying in order for you to rebuild another support system around you, you literally have to move to a new group of friends or create a new group of friends. But wherever it was that you lost before, you're not going to be able to rebuild that, whatever that is. That Sagittarius card underneath the deck literally is like coming through heavy in terms of that. Like you have to move to a new place. So this is rebuilding with new energy. Let me see. I wanted to shuffle like a card from the inner child. I don't know why, but this deck was just calling to me because normally when we're shifting our realities, it's really funny how we end up aligning with the things that we wanted as kids. You know, it's funny how we'll go through like losing the vision that we had as a child and then end up finding our way back to it in some way. But okay, so a message from your inner child here about how your life is evolving over the next year says you can do hard things, just like we talked about with Saturn. It says there are many things in this life that we feel we cannot or should not have to do, but we must be careful of what we place in these categories, for maturity often lies on the other side. Take time today to think upon the beliefs that might be holding you back. Are you just like this 8 of Swords that we were talking about your whole reading, Pile 1? And it says, are you putting yourself in a box? Pile 1, are you putting yourself in a literal fucking box? Like it's right here in the 8 of Swords. She's in a literal coffin. Like what the hell? But it says, are you putting yourself in a box by what you cannot or should not have to do? Right. That's just that Saturn energy. That's just that Saturn energy just coming through and saying like you're going to have to move. You're going to have to put yourself in an uncomfortable position. Again, it's about getting out of that comfort zone and being in an uncomfortable position. That's where you're going to see a lot of your growth, your physical changes over the next year, is in completely new places and spaces. Let's see, let's get let's do these first. Let's get some cards here just to see how Pile 1's physical reality is changing over the next year. We have here freedom. What was I telling you guys? This is freedom from yourself. Freedom from yourself for sure. Freedom from yourself. But this could also be alluding to freedom from your job, freedom from a certain relationship. Freedom from, this is really coming through Pile 1. I'm feeling like a lot of my Pile 1s, or like literally every single one of my Pile 1s have something different that you need to be liberated from. So wherever you're feeling stuck, Pile 1, wherever you're feeling like karma has had her hands on you, like she's had her grip on you, that's exactly where you're being liberated from, like I opened up your reading with. I kind of want to look at this card just to see. Okay, we have still, okay, I accidentally just flipped it back over, so this was just Spirit saying, nope, not supposed to, but it was stillness. And then we have here abundance. So this is you going from, okay, so this Uranus card is also talking about a major disruption of scarcity in your life, where it's like you go from, just going back to that example, let's say you fell out with a friend group and now it's like you don't have a lot of friends anymore. If you're feeling scarce in that area, or like it's just been so difficult for you to reconnect, or not reconnect, but like it's just been difficult for you to connect with new people, this is you coming into an abundance of new friends. If you have felt like ever since you left your old job or got fired from it, or something went down over there and it just wasn't healthy for you anymore, mentally healthy for you anymore, with this Eight of Swords right here, talking about how your mental health was being impacted or impaired to some degree because of your circumstances, okay? So it's not that she is in an Eight of Swords state for no reason. Her circumstances, she literally sees herself being surrounded or trapped by these swords, is just how she sees it. So whatever was happening to you was something that was impacting your own mental health. And this is where you're being freed from that, and you're gaining a lot of more of whatever you feel you may have lost, or whatever you feel like you may have suffered in the past by losing something. That's where you're getting a lot of abundance back. But this is like an abundance of wherever you have felt some scarcity or stagnation with, wherever you felt trapped, with the Star card right here. As long as you're willing to move to a new place. I forgot we have the Ace of Swords right here. As long as you're willing to move to a different place, don't try to reconnect with the old people that already fucked up. Don't try to go back to that job that already proved to you you can't be happy there. Don't go back to anything that has already proven to you to negatively impact your mental health. With this Eight of Swords right here, move forward with this Ace of Swords. Pile one, you don't have a choice. I never talk like this in my tarot readings because I never feel that confident like this is what you have to do. I'm normally like, just listen to your intuition. No, pile one, no, I'm telling you, from my end anyways, what I'm picking up is like there is nothing for you with that past situation. Absolutely nothing. I can guarantee you that. Let's see. Let's get one more. How's pile one's physical life changing over the... What the hell? Are you kidding me? Is this a different card? Oh my God, this is totally a different card. Pile one, this is gonna be for you. Look at that. Work. Sixth house, work. Okay, this is from a completely different pile. Habits, health, service, colleagues, employees, skill, workplace, daily routines, nutrition, diet, fitness, hygiene, checkups, responsibilities. So for a lot of you, the biggest changes for you are coming with your work, your sixth house energy. Look into your natal chart if you know it, and look at which sign rules your sixth house, and look at if there's any current transits right now in your sixth house. What the hell? There's too many cards that flipped over. Purity, gateway, and voyage. Let me keep shuffling to get one more. That's pile one's physical life changing in the next year. Courage to break free. And that's what's going on with this Eight of Swords. It's just like this fear of stepping out of this place that has kept you stagnant. Isn't it funny how we can have fear to let go of what's been toxic for us? Because this Eight of Swords is just telling me all day, there has been a toxic situation for you where it's like it's affected you mentally. And it's crazy how we can know for a fact that something isn't good for us and we still struggle to walk away from it. Because it's like, well, at least I know how this is unhealthy for me, you know? And it's like, that's just human nature. We're literally engineered to survive. And a part of survival when it comes to a living being, a living creature, is experience, knowledge. I know what to expect over here, you know? And so the unknown can seem a little more threatening. Look at what the fuck is underneath the deck pile when I'm so done with you. New beginnings. New beginnings. This is what I was just talking about. What is that? Delight. Okay. New beginnings. That's what I was just talking about for you. All right. Let's get some career cards for you, especially since that sixth house came out for you. We have money manager. It says this card could indicate your career finances could take a giant leap forward. Consider careers and money management, banking, accounting, or anything in finance, you can expect a happy outcome when it comes to your finances. I like that. I love that. And we already have the abundance card for you right here. We've got the Star, the Ace of Swords, and Uranus, and new beginnings, and freedom, and 6th house. And you can do the hard things. This is all about you guys being able to get liberated, okay? So there could be some also financial liberation here. Not could be, there will be. Wherever it is that you get liberated from, it will have an effect on other areas in your life. Pile 1, how is their physical environment changing over the next year? Let's see, something flipped over in here. We've got here prudence. Don't let the balance of your credit cards get too high. Put something aside for a rainy day. Stay within budget and start living within your means. Okay, so whatever this is as well, because again, like I was saying, the 8 of Swords can talk about where maybe you are not contributing as well to a healthy reality or a healthy present. And if that's the case, then again, just being able to look in the mirror and be like, okay, maybe I need to cut back a little bit on my spending and just be a little bit more careful or cautious or whatever it may be. That could be something just in terms of like, you know, becoming more financially conscious and responsible, especially with the Saturn card right here, could also help liberate some of you guys. Then we have, look, underneath the deck, embrace the wisdom of the unknown. Like I said, it's about being able to confidently move into the unknown. Like how I was just saying, like sometimes we'll stay with something that's toxic because when we venture away from it, it's like, well, at least I know how that toxic over there works. I don't know about this new toxic, you know? And it's like, I don't know about this new area. This new area could have a different type of toxicity to it or a different type of something to it. And so some people, sometimes we get a little bit lazy where it's like, at least I already know what the fuck I'm getting over here, which is nothing. But you know, sometimes we get a little bit lazy, but this is about you not rationalizing in that way over the next 12 months. Do not rationalize and keep looking at things in the way where it's like, at least I know what I'm getting over here. Fuck that. You deserve better. So leave that in the dust where it's at. Go out and get better. Do not settle. This is not your year to settle, pile 1. Stop doing that. Especially if you've done that before. All right, let's see. Let's get a couple of relationship cards just to see. Okay, so we have here social media, watching, commenting, and stalking. So some of you guys, you could, what the hell? That was weird. Okay. Some of you guys, you could be meeting somebody over social media, as well as social media could have some connections for you. Like I said, there's going to be a new group that my pile 1s are hanging out with over the next year, and that could have it could have an impact on other areas of your life, like your work life and your finances as well, like improving your finances. But as well too, you guys could really link up with this new group of people over social media. That social media, let's get one more. This pile 1's life changing physically over the next year. Okay, this is kind of too many. Let me see. So we have Hands of Time, wanting to grow old with you. You guys could totally link up with somebody that really wants to commit with you, especially since we have the Saturn card here, which does rule commitment. Saturn does. It rules long-term commitments too. So you guys may be meeting somebody, especially if you're single, that could be in your life for a very long time. But this could also be talking about friends that come into your life, business associates that come into your life, and they're not just going to be there for a short time, but they're actually going to have a really great deal or a great hand in shaping a lot of your future moving forward, just like you will for them and in their life. So there's the people that you meet this year, in other words, pile 1, they're destined to stay in your life for an extremely long time, according to this card here. And then we have here past returns, perhaps an ex-lover or a past life. Be careful about this, pile 1, because this is where you guys, I feel like, could get caught up, is by trying to give the past another chance. Stay away from that. Take the leap, have faith and trust in yourself, for sure. That was underneath this card here. So take the leap and have, and then we have underneath all that is passion. Okay, and then let's see, one final card here. How is pile 1's life changing physically over the next year? We have magical powers. I weave and clear, I cast and know magic secrets to me now show. Like I said, you guys are going to get extremely gifted in your magician skills. And we have magical powers, this card literally coming through. I said that for you guys. Your magician skills are going to be fucking bananas this year. Like, for real. Whatever y'all want to do, if you want to liberate something, you can. If you want to bind something up, you're going to be able to do that. But be careful, because whatever it is that you put out there is coming right back to your ass too. So be careful about that, pile one. Don't get ballsy about, let me go over there and you know what? They've been talking a lot of shit. Let me go over there and handle them real quick. Be careful about that, okay? It's a lot better to keep looking at the future with this Ace of Swords right here. Don't focus too much on what is already bound and trapped. So if you come across somebody over the next year that's just really agitating the fuck out of you, leave their ass. They're not even worth you getting blocked and bound up by trying to bind them up with this Eight of Swords like we talked about. So be extremely careful of that. With magical powers comes a lot of responsibility. Saturn says that right there. Again, like it says right in the Saturn card, it rules karma. Whatever you do is coming right back to you. So be extremely careful of that, okay? Whatever you want to come back to you, whatever you don't mind coming back to you or having to live with or deal with or sit with, put it out in the universe, you know? That's perfectly fine if you don't mind it coming back to you. But yes, we have magical powers here. And then underneath the deck, we have knowledge. Like I said, you guys are your magician skills are just gonna be bananas. And it says, let me connect above and below, let the knowledge of ancestors flow. And I did mention that I felt your ancestors come through earlier. So they're also gonna be the ones lending you a lot of knowledge this year as well. This is gonna be knowledge that you guys are able to turn into something tangible. Maybe it's going to be something that you end up sharing on social media. Maybe it's going to be some sort of knowledge that you end up using for the benefit of your sixth house, your career area and stuff like that, or even your long-term relationships, and especially when it comes to liberating yourself from certain situations. But yeah, so pile one, this is all that I'm seeing for you guys in terms of what is going on with your physical reality changing or shifting over the next 12 months. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Let me take this time to thank your guides, my guides, our higher self, amazing spirit for these messages. Hopefully you all come back to visit sometime soon. And until next time, you guys, please stay safe, stay healthy, stay blessed, and keep conquering the world. Bye, guys. All right, and pile number 2, welcome to your reading. So we are going to be starting off with your tarot cards here. And then I'm going to be checking out a slew of oracle cards to see exactly how your physical reality will be shifting over the next year. So if you're more so interested or would also like to check out and see how you personally and vibrationally will be shifting over the next 12 months according to this astrological new year, then check out the reading that I posted right before this one. I'll also have it linked in the description box down below if you want to check that out, just to see how personally you may be shifting or vibrationally you may be shifting over the next year. But this reading today is all about your physical reality. So we're looking at more of the mundane things today, but let's just get started. So the very first tarot card that we have for you is the 10 of Coins in reverse. Then we have the 9 of Coins upright. And then the Ace of Wands. Okay, so what's interesting with you is that since I've already started your reading, but I am just realizing, I'm pretty sure I used this deck to shuffle for pile 3. So I don't know if you were like a little bit interested in pile 3 too, because I just kind of have like all my cards just like laying out on my desk, and I just grabbed the ones that I thought that I shuffled for pile 2, but I'm pretty sure I used this deck to shuffle for pile 3. I'm pretty sure I did, because I'm pretty sure I did. So you may have also been drawn to pile 3. Okay, so if you wanted to give pile 2 a listen, and then just sort of see if you're resonating with it or not, and then check out pile 3. Yeah, that may be the thing, or I could have just fucked up. So I don't know, but take it as it resonates for you. Okay, so we have here the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, 9 of Pentacles upright, and the Ace of Wands. So pile 2, we've got an Ace Ace of Wands for you. And it's funny because like aces are kind of in the reading today, quite a bit. But we also have 2 Pentacle cards showing up here. And especially with these Pentacle cards too, they're like the final 2 Pip cards in the Minor Arcana's Suit of Pentacles. And these 2 cards, they talk about the end of a chapter within your work and career or your physical life. So for many of you in pile 3, this is alluding to either retirement, possibly quitting one job to focus on a passion of yours with this Ace of Wands over here, doing something outside of maybe what you went to school for or was educated in with this 10 of Pentacles in reverse. And the Ace of Wands keeps alluding to teaching. So if you are interested in becoming some sort of a teacher, if you come from like a family or a background where everyone took a similar career path, this is you possibly totally diverting from that and following like a real independent passion of yours with this Ace of Wands right here. So this Ace of Wands is talking about some sort of venture being new, risky, exciting, and destined. So the reality that you have been calling in, it feels so much more exciting. And these Pentacle cards feel more like a duty or what is expected. Okay, so these 2 Pentacle cards right here just kind of feel like what you're supposed to do, while the Ace of Wands feels like what you want to do. So, yeah, this Ace of Wands, it feels like it's talking about something that's risky, you know? The reality that you've been calling in feels so much more like exciting. And the 10 of Pentacles just looks to me like you have dropped some sort of inheritance or expectation or tradition, maybe to follow in some sort of like predetermined footsteps, but instead you bet on yourself here with this Ace of Wands. And you guys may have to financially depend on yourself for a little bit if you were being supported by someone else, especially if you end up branching out on your own in some way or appear to go off script. For some of my pile 3s, someone could stop financially supporting you or assisting you while you figure those things out on your own. You may not have focused that much on independence when you called in this new reality, but that is totally what's coming in with this 10 of Pentacles. The card of support showing up in reverse, and the 9 of Pentacles, the card of being self-made showing up upright. So this is also too, it's not just like tradition and family, but this is like also too, like, let's say that you went to school to become a doctor, right? This 10 of Pentacles in reverse is talking about how your mind, your brain, your mind, something about you working totally different, or it's almost like let's say that you studied something in medical school, but for you it doesn't make sense. For you, you're like, why is nobody oh my god, I'm so sorry that your reading has been blurry this whole time. I just looked at it and realized. Anyways, this 10 of Pentacles in reverse for you is talking about how even though you went to school to study medicine for all these years, it's like there's just something that's always been in you where you're like, I don't know why they do things in that way. You know, I don't know why they think that X, Y, and Z is like a smart way to do things. Like this is you almost like reimagining a tradition or reimagining something that's already like established. And you kind of like throwing a bit of a wrench into it and really bringing up some valid points here as to like why things shouldn't be practiced in this way. So this 10 of Pentacles for me, it feels like a practice. Like this could even be you like becoming your own parent and being a completely different parent from how you were raised when you were a kid, you know, like that's what this 10 of Pentacles in reverse feels like. It feels like however you learn something is not how you intend to carry yourself forward in the future. Like it's just not how you intend to carry yourself in the future. Whatever it was that you learned or inherited or were taught is like, it just, to you, it doesn't make sense. You're like, there's a better way to do this. It's a smarter way to do this. So this could be in any area of your life. And that's where that independence is coming in, where it's just like, you're just this independent thinker almost in a sense. But it's different. Instead of it being like almost like mentally, it's also just a part of who you are with this Ace of Wands right here. It's just like you were just always born to do things a bit differently. I'm wondering if your Mercury was retrograde when you were born, if your natal Mercury is retrograde. Because, or if your like Mercury was like on the cusp, maybe. I know not everybody like believes in cusps, but shit, I do. I study degrees too much to not believe in cusps in astrology. Fuck that. Yes, that actually exists to me. Anytime I see something on the cusp, like major, or like somebody's sun sign, I'm like, damn. Because that actually plays a huge part. But yeah, I'm wondering if like your Mercury was in retrograde when you were born, or if it's like on the cusp of something. Maybe you were born on the cusp, like your sun is literally like at the 29th or the 0 degree of something, like, because that means something for sure. I'm just wondering. There's also critical degrees for different modalities too. So like the cardinal signs have different degrees that are more critical, just like the fixed signs, and the mutable signs do too. So that could be another thing. But I'm really wondering, because you have this refreshing way of approaching these traditions, and it's like, it's not like you hate tradition, but there's just this literal thing in you where you're just like, but why do we do it that way? And this is just you kind of bringing new energy into a very old tradition or something that's been established already. This could also be you creating your own income or revenue over the next year. And also too with like contracts or paperwork. So some of my pile 3s, you may share like a lease. You may share like a lease with someone, for instance. And so you are essentially stuck to them kind of. But this is you over the next 12 months being able to secure your own lease as well. So it's like wherever you may have shared something with someone else, you could definitely become like the owner with this 9 of Pentacles right here. You could definitely become the owners. Maybe somebody like backs out, or maybe somebody like they're doing things in a way that they shouldn't be doing that. Maybe they're like unethical in some way, or you just can't like necessarily trust them, or there could be something here that kind of moves you to be like, okay, let me do this on my own. And it might not even be anything necessarily bad that happens, because it doesn't really feel that way. With this 9 of Coins and this Ace of Wands, it just sort of feels like for you, the next logical best step is to try and do things more independently, or more with your own style and in your own way. So it doesn't necessarily feel like a bad thing. It just kind of feels like you just being like, just open to trying something on your own. So yeah, it could definitely be contracts and paperwork as well. Like I was just saying, for example, if you shared a lease with someone over the next year, you could definitely come into being the only person on that lease, or you finding your own spot and being the only person on that lease. So this is like over the next year being able to secure that by yourself, and where your name is the only one on there. Because when it comes to the Pentacles, Pentacles is logical, it's practical, it's pretty fixed and permanent. So this is also like paperwork, contracts, signing leases and signing your name on shits, stuff like that. This is stuff that's like attached to you, your name, your credit, your accounts, your everything. So when we're dealing with the Pentacles, this is like real life. It ain't just feelings, It's not a desire like the Wands. It's not a feeling like the Cups. It's not a thought like the Swords. This is what's real. Like this has actual influence on the life that you're living, right? So, and the reality that you're living. So whatever this is over the next year, it's like there's this feeling here of something being in control, being removed from that position. So it's like it removes the control and power someone may have held over you because you depended on them, either like financially or for certain things like a home or a vehicle or your lifestyle. So this 10 of Pentacles in reverse could also be alluding to a divorce or separation of some kind. Just you wanting something for yourself though too. If this is something that you've been wanting to do or have initiated in the recent past, this could be like a settlement or like alimony. Is that what it is? I think it's like alimony, where you get, I don't know. I've never been married. And I've never actually personally been that close to anybody that's gone through a divorce. So I'm not sure If that, I feel like it's alimony though. Isn't that what the money that you get from, whatever? It's not important, but it could be something like that, like alimony. Anything that kind of comes to you from a separation, that could be happening as well, especially if it's been like a long sort of like drawn out process. So this could also manifest as an inheritance, because this almost looks like back pay too, like maybe something that should have come to you maybe like a while ago. So this could be something where it's like, oh, we're gonna pay you for 2 years ago and last year and this year. It could be something like that too, especially if it's been something happening like in the courts, or and it's just taken a long time because courts move so slow. It could be that as well over the next year. So especially if there's like a separation that's been going on, you could definitely be getting something from that. But as well as too, this 10 of Pentacles in reverse could also manifest as an inheritance. And it might also come in the form of like property or assets instead of actual money. So this could be jewelry, art, clothes, vehicles that you inherit. Surprisingly, with this being in reverse here. So there could be like a distant relative that you end up inheriting something from and didn't even know that like you were in the will. Something about this Ace of Wands looks crowned to me as well. So this is saying that some of you are destined as well to become the matriarch, the patriarch of your family. So for example, if in your family everyone always went to like a particular grandparent for advice or leadership or guidance or wisdom, or to help settle disputes and disagreements, that could become you within the next year. There's something about you specifically where age is not relevant. And what I mean by that is like, no matter if you're really young, like, just new to being an adult, like 18, or like a senior in your life, there's some sort of a torch being passed to you in terms of leadership in a sense, because you exude the same independence and tough mindset that makes others look up to you. Like you're this natural born leader. And the funny thing is that, some of you may wonder, like, why are people looking at me like I'm the matriarch or like I'm the patriarch? Like I'm only like 19, for instance, or I don't even have kids yet, or I'm not even married, or I haven't even been through certain like life experiences. But there's just something here where it's like you literally have inherited, with this 10 of Pentacles right here, some sort of independent leadership, very mature or almost like wise sort of like aura about you, where even though maybe you haven't had certain experiences, you're still able to lend some sort of wisdom somehow. So you may be wondering, like, why would y'all be looking at me like this? But there's a reason for it. You just exude it with the Ace of Wands. Like, people feel like they can trust in your advice, and they can trust in your leadership, and they can trust in what you're telling them or how you're guiding them. They just feel very comfortable with that. There's some sort of a torch being passed to you here. And it's really because you exude the same independence and tough mindset that made people look at you like you're just this natural born leader, like you just got it, So this is something that could definitely happen within your family with this 10 of Pentacles here. Or it could be you establishing your own unit or your own family or your own support system. Also as well, pile 3, if there is someone that you clash regularly with, because the both of you have very strong personalities, I see you earning their trust as far as they don't feel the need to guide you or try and tell you what to do or what they think is best. This could be a parent that's a bit overbearing in your opinion. So some of you in this pile could totally be coming into your own as a young adult because you just exude this maturity, and something about you just feels very stabilizing, like others can lean on you and learn from you somehow. So this may be someone also seeing things your way. There's like another strong personality showing up in your reading, and I hear them thinking to themselves that like you're right, but maybe they never tell you, or they just like kind of look at you as like, wow, like you've got a lot more figured out than I ever actually thought or anticipated. And it's like they just end up trusting you a little bit more, or they end up looking at you as like more of this adult, more of this like mature sort of wise person. So for example, you could have been telling this person to like get into spirituality or therapy or meditation, and they go through something where they realize like, oh, you're onto something. You're not just talking like, oh, just raise your vibration, like come live with me in the 5D. It's like, no, like they realize that you're kind of onto something when it comes to maybe meditation, therapy. It's just an example. It could be anything, but it could definitely be this person seeing that you are manifesting something or you end up changing, or you just seem like you got shit figured out with this Ace of Wands. And because of that, this is that other person losing their skepticism in some way. So let's see. Let's get some astrology cards. See what could be. We're not doing that. Let's see what Aquarius and Capricorn it flipped over. Okay, yeah, we're not doing that though. Too many cards. Okay. How is pile 2's physical reality shifting over the next year? So this is, okay, so we have here fixed. The card fixed came out and it says signs: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. Consistency, stability, unwavering action, change, maintain, continue growth. Okay, so that's what this is. There could be some change coming to a place where, like I said, people may start looking at you as like this stabilizing force, especially when some shit changes that they're not used to changing. So they mentally have no frame of reference. Like they don't know what it's like. Like, let's just say, for example, I don't know. Let's just say, for example, that like whoever your family used to depend on and always go to for guidance and wisdom, let's just say that they decide to, like, I don't know, move overseas. Now, while that's not going to keep you from speaking to them, let's just say that's what happens, right? And people aren't used to that because this person has always been there. So people almost are just in this place where they're feeling like, oh my God, everything's changing. They feel like they've sort of lost their footing or whatever kept them grounded. And so people start to look at you, because that's what fixed energy represents. It represents something that you can depend on, that you can count on. There's a reason why in the Wheel of Fortune and in the World card, it is surrounded by only the fixed signs, because they represent what is permanent, what will always be. The same way that the sun will always rise in the east and set in the west, that's what the fixed signs represent. They represent, I'm going to always keep on that same energy. You never have to guess with me. So if something that seems very fixed and permanent within your life or your loved ones' lives just changes, people may gravitate towards you because you seem stabilizing, like what I was talking about. And so that's what I'm kind of saying with this fixed card right here. Underneath that we had mutable. I'm going to keep shuffling because I think that fixed card wanted to be seen. How is pile 2's, what was that? We have here Libra. I'm going to keep shuffling because it stayed flipped over. How will pile 2's life physically change over the next year? We have here first house came out. 12th house was under it. I'm going to put it back in the deck. So we have here first house came out, planet Uranus, ruling sign Aquarius. No, I'm sorry, 11th house. I was like, wait, what? Okay, 11th house. Okay, so it says planet is Uranus, ruling sign Aquarius, and this rules society, social justice, charity groups, memberships, humanitarian, futuristic, science fiction, wishes, and liberty. Yeah, so this is this could be great change coming to as well your social circles. How you give back to your social circles and how you tend to them and what you represent in your social circles, like what I was saying, when it comes to this fixed card right here, just what you represent to people is stability. And so there could be a huge change in your, basically, like the way that the people around you kind of view you, and you could become something to the people around you where they see you as like just this fixed stabilizing force over the next year for sure. And then we have here North Node. So this is why everyone is kind of gravitating towards you, is because, like I said, you just look like you have shit figured out with this Ace of Wands card right here. And that is exactly what the North Node is. So with North Node, the tarot card that it represents is the World, Lunar Node. It says karmic path, destiny, the lesson that we came to learn, spiritual growth path, key to fulfillment, fear of the unknown. Like I said, it's like you guys have shit figured out, and it says key to fulfillment. It's like you guys just look fulfilled. You look like you have it together. Get a card from your inner child, because I wanted to hear from your inner child as far as how your physical reality may shift over the next year. Because in my opinion, it's very funny how as kids, it's like when we think that the world is just full of so many possibilities, like infinite amount of possibilities, that we think that we can do and be anything. And it's like we kind of forget that over time. And I think like a lot of us have learned how to kind of come back to that childish, unrealistic, dreaming sort of place where it's like, no, I actually do believe that I can make this happen or do this for myself. So that's why I wanted to check in with our inner child energy, because a lot of the times our fulfillment is whatever we wanted as a kid or whatever we envisioned for ourselves as a kid. So I thought it was important to hear from that energy. And it says, look at this. You're going in the right direction. I'm loving that. It says, on this journey, there will be many voices that call to you of the right way to go, but truly only you know your path. Sometimes it might seem as though you are lost or that you are going in circles, but trust that you are where you need to be. You will learn all you need when you surrender to the flow and trust your intuition. We already have the North Node card here, which talks about the only direction that is right for you individually. So North Node, my North Node is the right direction for me. Your North Node is the right direction for you. Everyone has a very specific direction for them with their name on it. There's a reason why you can do literally every exact thing that another successful person did, and you'll never see the same success as them, because it's not meant for you to go in that way. This is why blueprints are not encouraged in life. Because there's no such thing. No one else is going to be able to point you in the right direction, just you. And this is why the North Node is so important here. But like I was saying, you guys are just going to seem like you know what's up and like you know what's good and like you're going in the right direction. This is what a lot of people are going to be seeing you as. But another thing too, this is telling me, pile 2, if you were struggling to figure out like, what's the next best step for me? What have you always wanted to do? Your inner child with this "you are going in the right direction" card is literally saying whatever you felt called to before the world told you that you couldn't do something. Remember how I was saying in the beginning of your reading, you just have this way of being like, but why do we do things that way? I know it's tradition. I know we've always done it like this. Whether it comes to your education, your family, personal life, culture, society, whatever the fuck, there is something that you're walking into this and you're like, but why? Why couldn't we try something new while also honoring tradition? You know, it's like you have this other way of doing things. Yeah, we've got the 11th fucking house ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is the planet of the rebel. Aquarius represents rebelliousness in a sense. 11th house represents individuality and autonomy and free will. It literally represents our birthright to go in our own way and in our own direction. So what I'm actually seeing here is that by you doing something that feels right for you, whether it makes sense to anybody else, that is always going to be your compass. Okay, that's always going to be your compass. So if you're like, what am I supposed to do next? What is your inner compass telling you? What is your inner compass telling you? Not what is society or everyone else telling you. Don't listen to the world. The world doesn't even know its goddamn self. So don't even factor that in. The world is confused as hell. I remember the day that I realized that. It might have been just about to come out of high school, and I was like, wow, nobody has the damn answers. Like literally nobody. I don't care how much somebody sounds convincing. Nobody has answers. If they did, we would all have things figured out. And this is why I don't believe any of us are gods. Like there's still people like starving. We haven't even figured out how to feed everybody on the planet, but we're gods? I don't think so. So we don't have anything figured out. We're literally learning as we go. That's normal and that's okay. So with you guys specifically, you're very realistic about that. And I feel like you guys are either going to get to a place over the next 12 months where you're not putting as much pressure on yourself to make sure that you're going in the right direction, but you're just kind of open to the idea of like, what if even when I make the wrong decision, it's the right one? What if when I feel like I'm going in the wrong direction, I'm actually exactly where I'm supposed to be? And I feel like you guys opening up to that and just being like, even though everyone else is telling me that it's wrong, I feel like for me it's right, or it just feels more natural to me. Look at what is more natural to you? What feels more natural to you? What doesn't feel forced? Underneath the deck, we have pull yourself close. It says our inner being longs for us to reside as one. It is now time to pull close all of the places inside of us that we wish were not there. Imagine embracing yourself in acceptance, the good parts, the bad parts, the missing parts, and the broken pieces, knowing that every place inside of you is worthy of the greatest love. Let's look into relationships here. Okay, so we have cleanse, release what no longer serves you. So there could be a cleansing coming in with your relationships and your inner circle over the next 12 months, especially with this 11th house card right here, which definitely does rule our social circles. So there could definitely be a cleansing coming with that. But as well as too, what I feel like with this release what no longer serves you is when it comes to tradition. Like, it's just like whatever doesn't make sense to you. And I keep using the word tradition, but it doesn't have to literally be like tradition. It could be whatever people have told you, like this is just the societal norm. This is just the construct. We don't ask why. We don't ask why it's this way. We just do it. Any area in your life where everyone else is just doing it mindlessly without asking why, that's where a lot of your 12 months over the next year is going to be shifting a lot physically. Where you're just doing things differently when it comes to release what no longer serves you with this cleanse card right here. And then we have clarity that came out for you. Clear your thoughts to see what is in front of you. So there could even be somebody, pile 2, if you are looking into, if you want a romantic partnership or relationship over the next year, you could definitely be falling in love with somebody that is like a friend, or they've always sort of been there maybe. It could be somebody that you start to see as like, oh my God, like maybe there's some potential here. Maybe there is something here. But just know that if that feels natural and right for you, it's more than likely meant to happen with this North Node card. It's something that's pretty destined is for you to experience a relationship like that, maybe with a friend. Because something about this clarity card, clear your thoughts to see what is in front of you. I feel like is saying like there could be a friend or something that you never looked at in that way. And then it's like, that could be your person possibly. And then underneath the deck here, we have differences not on the same page. So this could even be alluding to as well, you realizing that somebody you're just simply not on the same page with, kind of like what I was talking about all throughout your reading. Like there's just, you just want to do things a little bit different, you know, maybe to other people it looks unconventional. And this could be the differences that's being spoken about here. Where you're more of the Ace of Wands, like let's just try it differently. So this could be the cleanse that you're experiencing in your social group and in your social life, is a cleansing of the people that don't really see things your way. And I don't feel like you guys are tyrants like that. I feel like you guys are just kind of like, I feel like you guys are only going to be cleansing the people from your life that try to literally like block you from doing things differently. I feel like that's what you won't tolerate. But in terms of just people just feeling differently, I don't think that'll bother you at all. I think it's just more so about like, don't give me grief. Don't try to stress me about it. Don't try to be overbearing. Don't try to force me to do things in the way that you're doing them just because you've always done them that way. So that's what I'm kind of seeing with differences here. Let's see, let's get some finance cards for you. How is pile 2's finances changing over the next year? Okay, so we have the people you spend the most time with shape who you are. So there's, it's funny that this is like a career financial deck. And it's funny that your relationships came out again. So there's just, there's going to be some big changes with your 11th house. Your close inner circle. You could definitely be finding your tribe for sure this year. For sure. Then we have your comfort. Okay, so this is you making money a little bit easier. It says, though you're not exactly rich, you will be living comfortably. You are entering the most comfortable period of your life. Your finances are in a state of balance. Like I said, you just seem like you have shit figured out. So this is going to be a comfortable, easy way for you to make money or manifest money. And people are going to be like, how, like, what are you doing? Can you give me this? Hell, can you help me out? You know? And then we have here science, and it says, there is something unfolding for you. Work with an open mind. Consider careers in science or any job that unravels the mysteries of the universe. Apply a scientific approach to your business or financial problem. Yeah, this kind of almost reminds me a little bit of what I was talking about with this Ace of Wands, and you just being like going back to that example, let's say you studied medicine for a long time and you're like, that doesn't make sense why y'all think that this is how we should do things, like as a doctor or in the medical industry. I don't know. I just see you guys really disagreeing with something that people do or it's been established, and almost maybe making some sort of like, it could be like a breakthrough discovery. Whatever it is that you do differently, it's going to work. And so it could be some sort of like a breakthrough discovery. So if you guys are in school or anything like that, and something just doesn't make sense to you, or it's in your career, doesn't make sense to you, try doing it differently. You guys may really be onto something, like something very new, very different, especially with this Ace of Wands. And then we have here Counselor. Maybe time for some emotional healing of your own, or release the past. Careers in counseling, psychic work, or energy healing may appeal to you. Your mental or emotional troubles could be blocking your abundance. Okay, so this is also for you guys too as well over the next year. You may be getting into work with a therapist. You know, you may be kind of trying to work through certain things, especially if you inherited some sort of like societal construct that you've just always struggled to adhere to. This could be something that you guys seek professional help for to sort of work your way through that. I really do see you guys just breaking out of whatever you're expected to do. I really do see that for you guys, but you may feel as though you need some professional assistance in that. And then underneath the deck here, we have options. Many opportunities are becoming available to you now, or flooded by too many ideas. Do not get stuck in doubt when an offer presents itself. Seize the moment. Create multiple streams of income. You guys could definitely be creating multiple streams of income. Let's see. How is pile 2's physical reality changing over the next year? I almost said 2 years. So I think 2 years will also apply as well, because I've literally almost said that for no reason. How will pile 2's... Okay, so let's see. So we have here miracles. So expect just like sudden changes over the next year, like really big sudden changes. When we describe something as a miracle, it's like a really big deal. You know, it's like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. So this is kind of telling me that there's like some sort of, we also have here enlightenment. This is you guys really putting other people on to like, I don't know why y'all do things like this. And then it's like it catches on or something. Like, this is you guys enlightening other people. I'm telling you, whatever it is that you decide to do differently, it's going to enlighten other people around you, like a lot. So it could be that you guys get into like the spiritual community or the spiritual industry or something like that, and maybe enlighten people to a new way to look at spirituality or whatever industry you're in, because it doesn't just have to be spirituality. And then we have here taking risks. Exactly. Hold on, didn't I say with your Ace of Wands down here that y'all are being risk takers, or you're being a little more risky? What the hell did I say? I think that was when I was talking about your 10 of Pentacles in reverse, how you're going to venture off into some sort of new direction that's quite risky. So you guys are definitely taking some big risks over the next year. And I mean like big risks, like gambling. But it's going to feel right to you with this Ace of Wands. You're going to be like, listen, to other people I'm gambling. To me, this is a for sure like guaranteed victory. Like it's going to work out. So that's another thing that you guys will be doing over the next 12 months, is really taking some big risks. And then we also have here adventures underneath the deck. Okay, let's get one final card for you. How is pile 2's reality, physical reality, shifting over the next year? So we have here beauty and prosperity. Yeah. And what it says here about beauty is, it says, I have a form which is divine. I allow what is within to shine. Yes, that Ace of Wands. And then it says prosperity, as this tree grows so strong, so fine, so may I prosper from the universal divine. You guys in pile 2, you're meant to like make your own money, especially with this 9 of Pentacles down here. It's what the 9 of Pentacles talks about. It just talks about being self-made. So you guys definitely will be coming into your own prosperity over the next 12 months. Like I was saying earlier in your reading, this is like if you've always had a roommate, this is you coming into your own lease, you know, your own apartment or something like that. Just being able to do something on your own that you may have needed help with before. And then underneath the deck here, we have joy. Oh, I like to see that. And it says, as I do will, so would it be, let joy and light radiate from me. But pile 2, this is all that I'm saying for you guys. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Let me take this time to thank your guides, my guides, our higher self. Amazing spirit for these messages. Hopefully you all come back to visit sometime soon. And until next time, stay safe, healthy, blessed, and keep conquering the world. Bye, guys. All right, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. So you may have been drawn to pile 2 because I actually mixed you guys' like card decks up. I forgot which cards I shuffled with for pile 2 and 3. But then I realized like your cards I had shuffled actually for pile 2. So you may have been drawn to pile 2. If you were, I just kind of wanted to go on ahead and put that out there. You may have been drawn to pile 2. But other than that, it was just one of my fuck ups. But it may have meant something for you on the other end. But anyways, we're going to be looking into your tarot cards first to see how your physical reality will be shifting over the next 12 months. So in the reading that I did just before this one, I looked into how your personal energy and vibration will be shifting over the next 12 months by almost setting up the cards and the reading in that way as like this natal chart in a sense. And so I read how your vibration will be shifting and seeing changes over the next year. And this reading today is all about your more so like physical life, your tangible reality, and the mundane stuff that you deal with in the day-to-day and how that may shift. So it may also, your reading may also allude to like mental shifts and emotional shifts and things like that. But more so, especially when it comes to your oracle cards, when I get to that portion of your reading, we're going to be looking just simply into the physical stuff. Okay, so yeah, let's just get started. Very first card that we have for you here is the Ace of Swords. Ace again. Aces keep coming out. The next card that we have for you is the Knight of Cups. And then we have the King of Swords. That's weird. Every pile today has, so far anyways, has done, it's had like, oh no, this is, okay. Yeah, well, yeah, it's kind of happening like that too. So it's weird because every pile today has had like 2 cards from the same suit with like an ace. It's just really weird. Okay. So first of all, some of my pile 2s will become first-time parents in the next 12 months. Because I am definitely getting the sense with your cards here that there's like a duty that's calling to you, or a really big responsibility falling right in your lap over the next year, and it will drastically change the way that your mind operates with this Ace of Swords right here. For some of you, I'm actually picking up that you are an older first-time parent, so you may be a little bit older. And so for you, this is like a really big change because it's like you've been without kids for 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 years. You know, you've never been a parent before, and it's like it's very different for you. So some of you guys could be like you could be older but still experiencing becoming like this first time parent. Outside of becoming a parent, though, there's a major possibility of falling in love, if you have not already, with this Knight of Cups right here, or experiencing a deeper level of intimacy than you ever have before. So this is someone managing to earn your trust and your respect. They may even open up a new side of your personality that you didn't know was there. This could you becoming more playful, youthful, joking a lot more, less serious than usual. Sort of like this new connection almost like softens you in a lot of ways. With this Knight of Cups, something is referring to you migrating, and I don't know why that's the word that came up with this card, but you migrating this year is a very real possibility, especially if this is you and your partner that decide to like move closer to each other, or to move in together because you guys want to spend more time with each other, or it's because the relationship gets more serious naturally. And oh, that's what this King of Swords could also mean as well. For those of you already in relationships, your relationship just getting a lot more serious over the next 12 months. It could be because you guys planned for it, but what it feels like to me is natural. This could be you guys getting into certain conversations that you've never had before in your relationship with this King of Swords and the Ace of Swords. These are very serious, real, important conversations that you may be having for the first time with a particular relationship in your life. This is also you as well, because these talks are so serious. This is you and your partner being brutally honest about what you guys want or what you're capable of when it comes to the future. But you guys definitely working through this together with this Knight of Cups. So there's a big change there in your physical reality. I don't know why that's coming through. I don't know if like you've never experienced that before in a relationship, and that's just a huge part of your reality shift that I'm picking up with these cards right here personally. So yeah, it could just be you in a relationship, getting a lot more serious, having more serious talks about the future, and actually putting those talks into motion. So it doesn't feel like a planned thing. It feels like, for some of you, like, oh, we just found out we're pregnant, or we feel the need to be closer, so we moved in together. It's a very natural progression happening in a relationship of yours, pile 2, but the both of you guys turn the page together for sure is what I'm really picking up. So it's like, even if you guys are talking about this together, you're literally working through every little thing to really come to a place where both of you feel comfortable and relaxed and good enough to take the next step. That's as far as the planning goes as what I'm picking up here. I don't really feel like you guys are like, okay, 6 months from now, we're going to try to get pregnant or whatever. It's just an example, but it's like you guys just naturally talking through things and then just coming to these realizations together. So that may be something that you've never experienced before, and this is something that is a big part of your reality shifting over the next year. It's this also like the both of you are embarking on this next chapter together, fully determined to learn and grow together. For some reason, could be these two swords cards here, but there's like a specific message about flying or getting like a pilot license. If that's a thing, I don't know. I have no clue about flying and how to get certified. I don't like flying. I don't like the air like that. But I don't know why that just came through. Almost like something with flying or getting a pilot's license. So yeah, I don't know if that's something to do with like the armed forces or like working as a pilot or a stewardess, or maybe just spending more time in the air. You could also be like moving to a high-rise building, or like maybe be living on the top floor somewhere over the next 12 months. This could be living in a higher altitude, like in the hills or on a mountain. Oh shit, we even have a hill in the back of this Knight of Cups card right here. Yeah, I thought it was these swords cards, honestly. There we go, now it's focused. I thought it was more so maybe these swords cards here, because swords can represent either like quick movement, or it can represent like the air. So it can represent things that are like happening high up above the ground too, like in a more literal sense. It could be metaphorical, like you're working or living in a more maybe like elevated position, or it's literal, like you move to a higher floor or at higher altitude. This could also be you guys like moving to a place where you have really good views or something. There's something with these swords cards that just feels like being up. I don't know. Maybe you enjoy mountain climbing, rock climbing, and you get into it more. You could also be getting an education online as well, or working remote could happen over the next year for you, especially if that's like a desire for you. But there's also something getting like expedited too. I feel like this has to do with your education or some sort of like course, or getting certified or trained for a certain position. But it's like it's rushed, or you may be thrown into it sooner than you expected. And then documenting as well feels like a real possible future for some of you in pile 3. I feel like some exciting things happening in terms of like quick developments and changes, and that may prompt some of you to start writing about things, or getting a diary, or like getting pulling out a camera and recording or documenting most of it. But keeping some sort of like a visual record is something many of you will get into over the next year if you haven't already. And it's not just for social medias. It feels just like more so for you. Like you want to have these memories forever for yourself. So for example, if you move to another country, this would be like documenting like packing and moving and settling in and getting used to like your new environment, just because you want to keep these memories. And at some point you may end up sharing it with other people for an audience possibly. Oh yeah, I did say with this Knight of Cups, I heard migrating. So if you have a lot of like Sagittarius energy, ninth house energy, Jupiter may be doing some serious shit this year for you in your chart. If you have like a lot of that energy, there may be like a job offer coming in, but specifically something for Sagittarius energy. You may have a job offer coming in from overseas or in another city that requires you to relocate. Something about you moving, documenting it, and then sharing it feels very probable though. And this could be something that you do with a partner or a friend or a family member. This could be something that you guys do together as well. Let's see, let's get some astrology cards for you. What is physically changing over the next 12 months for pile number 3? What physical, okay, so we have, look, ninth house. I was just talking about Sagittarius. Planet Jupiter, ruling sign Sagittarius, spirituality, religion, higher mind, philosophy, law, morals, ethics, big ideas, ceremony, travel, and publishing. Oh, publishing. See, I was telling you guys, yeah, something about like documenting and then maybe later on you share it with people. I don't know. Then we also have here square. This is an aspect. And for the planets, it says here 90 degrees of separation, internal conflict, restrictions, challenges, irritation, inharmonious, constrictive, delayed achievement. So this is what's changing over the next 12 months for you as well, is whatever may have been, because with the ninth house, it rules like what it says, like travel, publishing, spirituality, religion. It's your higher mind and like, it's kind of like the area of like all the intellects and stuff like that. Very philosophical area, right? So whatever sort of squares you may have had to this area of your life, your ninth house is specifically for you though. Look into the sign that rules your ninth house, okay? And then see if there's any current transits happening there. Because whatever was squaring, whatever made it difficult for you to maybe access your higher mind or your more so like spiritual sense, and we do have 2 swords cards here, whatever may have been in the way of that, it could have been the people around you that were in the way of that. It could have been a relationship. It could have been lack of encouragement and support that made you feel, that made it difficult for you to maybe explore your higher mind or explore these certain beliefs and morals that you have. Or ideas. Maybe there's some big ideas that you had or you've been wanting to do that you have been conflicted with, or you've been feeling like you couldn't do them. And it could be because of this square energy here. So there's wherever there was like conflicts and challenges when it came to developing more of a sense of like, oh, I feel like I'm doing this for a higher purpose or a bigger meaning to it. If you have felt like in your life you haven't been doing really purposeful, important things, that's where your life is changing over the next year, to put it simply. And then under the deck here we have, what is that? Conjunction. Okay. I don't know why I couldn't see that before. So we have here conjunction. It says planet 0 to 3 degrees of separation. This is about amplifying, uniting, blending, intensified, action, self-projection, dominant energy flow. Yeah. So this is things going from squaring to conjuncting for you. So this is things going from being very difficult to them literally being right in your grasp over the next year here. This could also be as well with this 8 of Swords. And then because between the square and this conjunction card over here and this 9th house and these 2 swords cards, you guys could be seeing a change in your job as well, like the boss at your job. So you guys could be seeing a change with that, either like a change in bosses or like just a change in the fact that like how your office is like governed. So it may go from like, it almost feels like you're, if you work for someone, it almost feels like your company could get bought out, is what it feels like almost, because it feels like a different energy almost like with your work or your career. So it just could be you just switching offices or switching careers altogether. But it could also be like your company getting bought out. Like if you work for someone, this could be you got like your company getting bought out, or like a change in CEOs or something like that. Whatever, what there was conflict, it's going to become a conjunction. So this could definitely be you guys getting like bought out. And so it kind of changes the way that the entire office sort of operates. Let's see. Let's get a message from your inner child. So the reason that I wanted to get a message from your inner child is simply because when it comes to reality shifting, a lot of the realities that we end up shifting to were the realities that we saw when we were a child. It was the realities that we used to say like, oh, I'm going to be this, or I'm going to do that when we were younger. So this is why I wanted to hear from our inner child in today's reading, because the inner child has no issues believing in the impossible. So let's get a message from your inner child as to what reality, how your reality is shifting over the next 12 months. So this was the card that came out, and it says disappointment is not the end. I feel like it has a lot to do with this square card right here. And it says it is okay to be disappointed. It is okay to make mistakes. We do the best that we can with the knowledge that we have, but not everything will always turn out as we hope. This is a part of life, and though it may feel like the end, it most certainly is not. Do not let disappointment or the fear of disappointment keep you from enjoying your life. So this is a really important message. So this is basically a message from your inner child saying that wherever you may meet some squares over the next year, that's not the final judgment of that situation. There's a very divine reason for the squares that you're going to be experiencing over the next year, pile 3. And it is important to understand that the reason that you are experiencing these squares is because you're simply meant to migrate into a different situation or a different direction or a different environment. Okay, so that's a very important thing. Do not let these squares get to you, because it's really, these squares are more so about kind of course correction for you. And then underneath the deck, what we have is gratitude brings abundance. Yeah, exactly. And it says the act of gratefulness is a door that leads into abundance of spirit and heart, allowing us to more deeply enjoy this life that we live. Set aside time today to remember all that you have to be thankful for, inviting your feelings of gratitude to overflow every part of your being with their dazzling warmth and light. So let's see relationship-wise, since I was kind of picking up relationships in a bit. Let's see relationship-wise what is changing for you physically over the next year, how your reality is shifting in your relationships over the next year. So we have here, fix it. See, these squares are turning into conjunctions for you over the next 12 years. I mean, 12, wow, damn. Excuse me, pile 3. Over the next 12 months. There we go. Okay. Over the next 12 months. Okay. Fix it. Sit down and communicate. Yes. And we have this sword energy here for you. So this is about, okay, so migrating isn't just literal. It's also metaphorical. So for you over the next year, this is going to be about making a bunch of compromises. This is about learning how to compromise. So when it comes to this Knight of Cups, I was thinking that migrate word that kept coming through for the Knight of Cups here was more literal, but it could also be talking about metaphorically. Migrate when it comes to your important relationships. Make compromises. It can't just be your way or the highway. It can't just be their way or the highway, but about making, like, meeting each other halfway. Oh, I did kind of say that in the beginning of your reading, that you and your partner, you guys are just kind of turning the page together. You know, you guys are really kind of growing together. At least you're working on growing together. So yeah, fix it. Sit down and communicate. So another thing that is really changing physically, another way that your reality is shifting physically over the next year is a lot of relationships. If they are the relationships in your life that have been difficult or painful, or just they just struggle to work, you may be putting a lot of energy into fixing it. You and this other party will put a lot of energy into fixing it. There's 2 people on this card, not 1. So this is you fixing some sort of relationship that is important to you over the next year. Or it could be more than one relationship. But like I said, this is that square becoming a conjunction. So wherever things have just been like a square. I mean, it's like conflict, restrictions, challenges, irritations, everything that it says in this square card: constrictive, delayed achievement, irritation, inharmonious. Wherever it's been like that in your life is what's coming into a conjunction, but especially when it comes to your relationships. So it's good to know. And then let's get one more in here for you guys. How's pile 3's physical? Okay. So we have mask is on. Things are not what they seem. So this could be another reason why things start to get fixed within your relationships, whether they're romantic, platonic, family, business, doesn't matter. When it comes to your relationship, specifically pile 3, over the next year, this is about discovering the truth. That's another thing that these swords are talking about then for you, because that's what swords represent esoterically in tarot. They represent truth, because they symbolize information, right? Information is not about opinion, it's not about emotions, it's about facts. So for you guys, and it says disappointment is not the end. Okay, so there could be a big realization with the people in your life over the next year, pile 3, where people may not seem like the person that you thought they were, or they may seem to change. And that may cause some conflict between you and this other party, where it's like the relationship just isn't flowing as gracefully and as easily because you're realizing something about them, or they're realizing something about you. And it's like things aren't what they seem, in the sense that the relationship might not be what it seemed, or a person might not be what they seem. But either which way, you guys are going to get down to the bottom of that, because with this 9th house card right here, this rules what we literally resonate with. When we're talking about the 9th house, Jupiter and Sagittarius energy, we're talking about what we resonate with. We can only resonate with authenticity. You will never resonate with anything that is manufactured or fabricated. It's impossible, because it's not real. There's no substance there for you to even resonate with it. Now, we can be attracted and drawn to a great deal of things that aren't necessarily authentic or organic. But when it comes to resonance, is about this almost like intimate connection, where it's like my soul is drawn to the soul of this other thing. We can only experience that with the truth. So wherever you may be struggling with intimacy over the next year in some of your relationships, and it doesn't just have to be romantic. Okay, intimacy, it can happen anywhere. You can have an intimate connection with a friend because you guys bear your souls to each other. And so you're available in that sense, and you're open in that sense. So somebody is not open when it comes to intimacy. They may not be as truthful about things because they're not willing to like open up. And you may be sort of trying to break past that wall, or they may be trying to break past your wall. And this is how you guys are going to really end up truly resonating. And you're going to resonate with something. Either you're going to resonate over each other's truths, or you're going to resonate with the fact that it's like, listen, I can't break past this. You have to let me in. And if you're not going to let me in, then we can resonate with the fact that this just isn't going to work. That's why a lot of your squares are turning into conjunctions, because it's like, this is either going to work or it's not. And that's exactly why this disappointment is not the end card came out as a message from your inner child. We also have here underneath the deck, stand by me. So there will be some people that you end up standing by, and they end up standing by you. They end up just choosing that in spite of how hard they have to work for it, just simply because you're meant that much to them, or they are meant that much to you. Oh, maybe I should I might need to change my battery. Try to shuffle these quickly. How's pile 3's physical reality shifting over the next year in terms of finances and career? So we have here emotions, and we also have easy does it. Okay, so with easy does it, it says slow and steady wins the race. This is not a good time to rush. Pay attention to every detail. Careful not to get involved with any get-rich-quick schemes, okay? So this is about building something, building your wealth, building your finances over the next year. So for you guys, this is about building yourself to an easier place financially in the future, but over the next year you may be working through that, like just building to a place, creating some sort of financial foundation where it's like I have like maybe income that I can depend on, or income that I don't have to worry about, or it could be income that's just a little bit easier to make. And then we have here emotions, and it says your emotions are affecting your finances. You're paying too much attention to your love life and ignoring your career. There's a reason that your relationships keep coming up in this reading, and I can't get away from it. I'm trying to see something outside of your relationships, but I cannot get away from it for some reason, and this could be why. It says you're paying too much attention to your love life and ignoring your career. Earn money doing something that you love, or a dream job might be offered to you. So this could even be a dream job coming to you guys over the next year. But for sure, when it comes to, again, like I said, the squares in your life are turning into conjunctions, because spirit and yourself and even your higher self is very well aware of the fact that your emotions are greatly tied into your career and the steps that you make and the strides that you make in your career and in your financial reality. So your spiritual team being aware of that is like, we have to find a way to bring a little bit more harmony into maybe your relationships, so you don't have to focus so much on those. So when they're going, maybe when there's differences or fluctuations in your relationships, it's not causing fluctuations in your finances and in your career. So that's another place that you guys will be getting to over the next year. It's just a place where it's like you feel a little more grounded and a little more, you feel like you can also take the responsibility off of yourself in terms of like making a relationship work, so it's not affecting your career. So because especially with this Knight of Cups card, like I said, this is about you and this other person meeting each other halfway. So it's not like the whole entire outcome of the relationship is on you, and you're also trying to manage like maybe school and your career and your other relationships and yourself and your own health and things like that. And then underneath the deck of this, wow, look what slid out of the way. As I was trying to pick up this deck, this slid out. We have parenthood, and I did mention in the beginning, some of you guys may be becoming first-time parents, but it says spend more time with your inner child and reconnect with that young curiosity. Your patient, nurturing, and warm nature would make you a great caregiver or parent. Don't forget to nurture and treat yourself while you work hard towards your goals. But we had new money underneath the deck here, and it says something new you've been working on will be very profitable. You should consider creating a new source of income. If you have a money-making idea, do it. And we have the Ace of Swords. If you guys have a money-making idea, go for it. The thing is that for you guys specifically, pile 3, you're so emotionally invested in your relationships that when they fluctuate, I'm picking up that it causes fluctuations in your career. And this is why I feel like you guys are really turning these squares into conjunctions when it comes to your personal relationships and your emotional, personal, private life, is because it's like, if I have these new ideas, or if I'm really going for it in my career and I'm really trying to achieve certain things, I need more stability in my personal life. And this may be you guys over the next 12 months trying to figure out, who can I create something with? Who can I find harmony with in my relationships? Because just these stressful relationships, they take too much of your attention away from your own goals and what you're trying to do. So that's another thing that you guys are really getting straight in your physical environment over the next year. And so because of that, you may kind of migrate away from some relationships or migrate towards other ones. And that may cause some, to feel like, your life is changing a lot. It may cause you to feel alone for a little bit. This is something about this Knight of Cups, just feels like you kind of like wandering a little bit, just wandering off or wandering towards something. Let's see. Let's get some other cards here to see how pile 3's physical reality is shifting over the next 12 months. Oh, shit. Okay. That like legit. Okay, here we go. It says happiness. Yeah, this is just more, and you see how there's 2 dolphins here? This could be a relationship, but I just feel like this is like more so just happiness in spite of where your relationships may be. I just really feel like you guys are prioritizing that over the next 12 months. Is just getting yourself to a space where you feel more so stable in spite of how your relationships may be evolving. But happiness, that is another thing that's coming to your physical. That's another thing that your reality is shifting to physically, is you're going to have real tangible physical reasons to smile over the next 12 months. And if you haven't had that in a long time, that's what's coming. But I feel like with this happiness card, I feel like it's like you're gonna make that for yourself. I don't know. I feel like you're just gonna find your own thing to be happy about while your relationships figure out how to stabilize themselves or balance themselves. How is pile 3's physical reality shifting over the next year? Yeah, we got pleasure. So this is you guys having more pleasure over the next year as well. Pleasure, especially within your relationships, especially within that. And then we have purification. So this could even be you guys like maybe physically. Another thing that you guys may do over the next year is like actually change your lifestyle, like your diet or something. Like you guys may go on like a all green like diet or like a living foods diet, or like you may go vegan or vegetarian. There's some sort of like drastic change that you could actually make. Because something about this happiness card, it just feels like you. Like it feels like this happiness is coming from you. Like not from your job, not from your relationship. But like you're just in a happier place. Just on your own, by yourself. And it could be because maybe you've purified your body in a way by letting go of certain habits. Like maybe you stop smoking over the next 12 years. 12, Jesus Christ, why do I keep saying that? Over the next 12 months, you guys may like stop smoking cigarettes, or maybe even cannabis if it's affecting you negatively. You guys may switch your diet and to where you just have this lighter energy, or just like this higher energy. You may notice you have more energy over the next year, over the next 12 months here. Something with this purification kind of brought that up. And so it may be easier for you to experience pleasure because you guys may have had some sort of blockage where it's like you couldn't even feel pleasure for a while. You may have experienced feeling numb or feeling like there was like no, what's that chemical that's like, it's like the chemical for pleasure. Is that dopamine, I think? You may have felt like you had some sort of like a blocker when it came to dopamine, like you weren't able to feel pleasure. And so you guys may actually get into changing something about your lifestyle, your diet, your routine, but you stay with it. You really stay with it. It's this new thing, Ace of Swords, but you really stay with it with the King of Swords right here. Like you stay committed to that. Because you know that it's like this is the reason that I'm feeling so much better. It could just be you meditating every day. Like you don't miss a day over the next year, you know? But it's something here, yeah, that kind of leads to you feeling just like more success, like more successful. You just ends up leading to you having more success. But it just feels personal, like it feels like it's yours. Okay, let's get one final card here just to see. How is your physical reality shifting over the next 12 months? How is pile 3's physical reality shifting over the next 12 months? Oh, see, they literally just like, your spiritual team literally just was like, yeah, it's the health. Okay, so this may also have a big impact on your relationships then, just by you changing yourself, because that's what it feels like. Okay, but it says here, health. Mother Earth sweet, Mother Earth bright, bring to me your health and might. So this is why so much of your physical reality is changing, is because you guys are literally putting different things into your body. You're literally putting different things into your body, and it will actually lead to success in other places. So for some of my pile 3s, maybe your relationship doesn't bring you the happiness and the success over the next 12 months. You've always maybe dependent on your relationships to bring you. This is about you kind of bringing in your own sort of feeling of health and success. For majority of you though, I feel like there's another person on the same page with you here where they're like, yeah, let's get our health together. Or yeah, let's get our minds together. Yeah, let's start therapy together. Yeah, let's start exercising. Let's start meditating. Let's start communicating better. Let's start being healthier for each other. And we want to do this for ourselves. Like, it starts with you. Like, you want to do it for yourself. But I feel like a lot of my pile threes have like this like buddy that's doing this with you. Could be romantic or anything else, but just kind of feels like it. And underneath the deck here we have courage. By shining brave and true and bright, my courage now returns this night. So this is just the courage to give yourself more and to give yourself better. I really see you guys making some maybe hard changes here, especially with this square, but it ends up becoming a conjunction for you where it's like, yeah, it's difficult for me to eat healthier, but it's like once you get into it and you literally feel these physical changes, you feel like you have more energy, you feel happier, you feel like the bullshit that happens in your relationships or in other areas of your life just can't get to you anymore. Because there's something about, like I said with this Knight of Cups, it's like you're migrating, like you're not, disappointment is not the end. Actually might not be a message for you. It just may be something that you realize on your own, where you're just, yeah, some things don't always work out in the way that we want, but it doesn't necessarily mean I have to be disappointed. There's just this like strength within you, this soul strength within you. You end up determining what is a disappointment and what isn't. But beforehand, it may have been other factors and other scenarios and circumstances that decided that for you, but you're taking, we got the King of Swords here. You're taking complete control over your own narrative over the next year for sure. So even if you're dealing with somebody within your relationships where they're wearing a mask or the mask is on, you're not going to honestly kind of, not that you're not going to care, but you're going to recognize the fact that it doesn't have to necessarily hit you. It doesn't necessarily have to impact the amount of success that you experience over the next 12 months, like your relationships may have done in the past. You know, like in the past when you went through difficulties with your relationship, it may have just, it may have impacted you in that way where career-wise, it was just difficult for you to focus, or it was difficult for you to focus on you, or maybe you would let go of your health because your relationships were not working or they were very stressful. It affected you in some way with your health, but that's just not happening over the next 12 months. So this is a huge kind of almost like distance or detachment in a way from that emotional side where it's like you kind of realizing I have to have more mental authority over what I allow to cause a square in my life. Okay, so this is just really you changing the way that you think. This is you coming more so into your higher mind with this 9th house right here. And that's where all this happiness and pleasure and purification is coming from, and success. But pile 3, this is all that I'm seeing for you guys. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Let me take this time to thank your guides, my guides, our higher self, amazing spirit, for these messages. Hopefully you all come back to visit sometime soon. And until next time, please stay safe, healthy, blessed, and keep conquering the world. Bye, you guys.